For more on the story, we're now joined via Zoom by the president of the BLA, Mashudu Kutama. He's on the line, he's not on Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us. We tried the Zoom way, but just didn't work. We understand the Black Lawyers Association is supporting the nomination of Western Cape Judge President John Hlophe as next Chief Justice. What are some of your thinking and reasoning behind this support?
Thank you, Desiree, and thank you to your listeners. The Black Lawyers Association indeed supported the nomination of Judge Hlophe by various BLA members in the Western Cape, various NGOs, church groups. This nomination is not the only, this support is not the only one. The Black Lawyers Association has issued letters of nomination on all those men as called by the state president of the following candidates: Judge President Maya, Judge President Ulambo, and Constitutional Court Justice Madanga.
So you gave support, but did you nominate him? And if not, why?
No, we did not nominate. Remember, if you read correctly the media statement issued by the President on the 16th of September 2021, calls any other person to nominate. But however, secondary to that nomination, there must be a letter of support of an organization in the legal profession, in human rights and the rule of law. That is what then necessitated the BLA to issue this support for the nomination.
Yeah. So, Mr. Kutama, the South Gauteng High Court is yet to rule on Judge Hlophe's challenge to the JSC's decision to ask that he be impeached or for President Ramaphosa to suspend him. Is this looming judgment not a worrying factor for you?
It should have been, it must be, as at the time. But remember, Part A of the application for the suspension or the removal thereof was settled between the parties. The Judicial Service Commission and Judge Hlophe agreed that Part A is unnecessary because Parliament has not started the process for the removal of Judge President Hlophe. What is then left is Part B, which now deals with the change of the finding of his misconduct. Those who visited him, himself, who accepted the nomination, I am very much sure that application was in the back of their mind. What the Black Lawyers Association did, like in any other candidate that we were so approached, was to send a letter of endorsement or support for the nomination of that particular, of each candidate that we deemed that person to be fit and proper to be the next Chief Justice.
Mr. Kutama, we hope to talk to you another time, but thank you so much for making the time this morning. Let's now take you back live to those interviews. I understand Mr. Julius Malema is now asking questions. There he is. Let's take you there live.
And it takes forever to be resolved. All I'm asking is, what will be an ideal situation where a competent constitutional court takes to resolve an adjournment?
All I can do is judge by my own experience in sitting in urgent court in Johannesburg. When I sit in urgent court in Johannesburg, I try and give a judgment there and then as the parties finish arguing the case. In the most difficult case, I will reserve judgment and I'll hand it down the next week. I've never taken longer than that to hand down a judgment in urgent court. I would use that as my guide. I would try and push for following my own guideline if I was in the Constitutional Court. But there are difficulties. That's the best answer that I can give.
Is there anything that needs to be changed with the Constitutional Court?
The one thing that worries me a bit at the moment is turnaround time with processing of cases. I can think of at least one case that I've got that's been waiting for a long time to get an answer. We filed heads in the case. We were asked to file heads a long time ago. We filed heads. We just don't know what's happened in the case. But that's not a universal experience. Mostly my experience has been good. But I think that case is indicative of a problem. But I think it's difficult for the court. They sit on bunk. I think they have a massive load of applications for leave to appeal. I think that's a problem that needs to be addressed, but I don't think it's the fault of anybody. I think systems need to be developed to process those. We had to do the same when I was chairing the commission in Kosovo. We had 30,000 claims. We had to decide them in a short space of time. We had to work out methodologies to process them as quickly as we could.
With your indulgence, DCJ, you can't say it's not a fault of anyone, because someone must take responsibility. We can't have a situation in this country under this constitution where things are not happening and we say we can't put a fault or a blame on anyone. In a situation where the Constitutional Court, in a case that you are telling us about now as an example, where there is no clarity of what is really happening, who takes responsibility for that at the Constitutional Court level?
Mr. Malema, I don't want to get involved in a blame game. And I'm a person I've never acted on that court. I don't know what the circumstances are that obtained there. I don't think the legislation as it stands enables the Constitutional Court to deal with matters quickly in the way that they would ideally like to. Addressing the problem may well require constitutional or at least statutory change. I'm just not in the blame game. I don't have enough knowledge. I don't have enough of a fact base to blame somebody. I would only blame somebody if I had a full set of facts and I knew what the circumstances were.